I'm not gonna lie, the first time I took my camper out all by myself, I pulled into the campsite, I turned off the engine, and I just sat there. Because all of a sudden, it hit me. My hubby Tom wasn't sitting in the passenger seat. There was nobody there to help with the setup, nobody to talk through the weather, nobody there to say, we'll figure it out if something went wrong. It was just me, and that was terrifying. But here's what 5 years of solo RV camping has taught me. Confidence does not come from being fearless. It comes from being prepared, having the right tools, right habits, and a few things that help make solo camping feel a less like something could go wrong and a lot more like something you can't wait to do again. If you've ever thought about solo camping or you're already doing it and sometimes second guessing yourself, this video is for you. These are the 8 things that matter the most to me. Some of the most beautiful campsites have the worst cell service. Although that does sound dreamy, when you're out there doing it all by yourself, it does feel a little different. There have been plenty of times when I've wanted to call Tom, text one of my daughters, or just let someone know that I've arrived safely. But without a signal, that was not always possible. And I think that's why solo camping does feel terrifying to a lot of people. It's not necessarily that you're in danger, but it's that feeling that you can't reach someone if you wanted to. So when the Starlink Mini became available, I bought it, and it's been a game changer for me. Now, if I want to call home, I can. If I want to look up some information, I can. Or if I want to check the weather before a hike, I can. And if my family needs proof that Thor is enjoying his life at the campsite, I can send him a picture. But it's not about having the internet. It's about knowing that I can reach people when I want to, and they can reach me. And that peace of mind has been a non-negotiable for me. Yep, staying connected does give me the ability to reach people when I need to. But before I ever leave my driveway, there's one thing that I always do, and it only takes 5 minutes. Before I leave for any solo camping trip, I always make sure that someone knows where I'm going. Not just that I'm heading up north somewhere, the actual name of the campground, the address, how long I plan to be there, and most importantly, when they should expect to hear from me. Tom always knows this. Has something ever gone wrong when someone needed that information? No, and I hope that it never does. It isn't just about safety. It's about giving the people that care about you at home the rest that they need because they're going to know that I'm safe. There's also a practical side that took me a while to appreciate. If something did happen, like a medical issue, or if I were to fall when I was out hiking on a trail or anything, the people looking for me would know exactly where to start. And that's not being paranoid. That's just being smart. 4 pieces of information and everybody sleeps better, including me. So always tell someone your plans every time, no exception. Now, this next thing on my list, it solves a completely different problem. And before you roll your eyes and think, of course she's going to talk about her dog, hear me out. When I first started solo camping, I had my dog Princey with me, and I didn't fully appreciate it at the time, but her just being there made camping by myself just that much easier. When Princey passed away, I missed her terribly, but there was one thing that I knew for certain. I didn't want to camp without a dog because she had shown me what a difference having companionship is when I'm out there alone. And now I have Thor, and he's picked it right up where she left off. He doesn't care if we're at a fancy campground or at a hip camp location or parked right next to Lake Superior. When we're together out camping, he's absolutely having the time of his life. When I'm at the campsite, he's there. When I'm on a trail, he's there. And when I'm sitting outside, just doing nothing, he's planted right next to me. In fact, Thor's sitting right behind the camera right now. I joke that Thor's my security system. Now, while I don't rely on him for protection, I will say this. If somebody walks by our campsite or gets really close to our camper, or if something unusual is happening nearby, Thor knows about it way before I do. And that's not nothing when you're out there alone. If you have a dog and you've been on the fence about bringing them with you camping, do it. You won't regret it because Thor isn't something that I just bring along for company. He's the reason that solo camping doesn't feel solo. But there is still something that does get my heart rate up even after 5 years. When Tom and I are camping together, He handles all the backing in and he makes it look so easy. But even sometimes he still wants an extra set of eyes outside, watching for obstacles and make sure that he doesn't clip anything. And that was my part. But when you're solo, that person does not exist. It's all up to you. And once again, I'm going to let you know that sometimes some campsites, they can be intimidating. Trees on one side, a picnic table on the other side, a fire ring hiding in exactly the wrong spot, and one unhelpful post positioned in the most awkward place. Yep, there's always different obstacles that you're going to face when you're backing into a campsite. The first time that I ever backed into a campsite all by myself, I was a nervous wreck. And honestly, it's still the part of solo camping that gets me the most. That's why my backup camera feels like a lifesaver for me. It's like having that second set of eyes without having to bother your camping neighbor, which I've done in the past. Do I still get out and walk the site and look behind me when I need to? Absolutely. That's always smart. But being able to see at a glance what is exactly behind me gives me peace of mind that I'm not going to hit anything. Here's what I've learned about backing in. The goal is not to hit it right on the first try. That rarely happens for me. The goal is to get in safely. If it takes you one try or 5 tries, it just doesn't matter. And there's no one handing out awards for the person that does it in the fastest amount of time. Now, backup camera hasn't made me a perfect backer upper, but it has turned from me thinking, how am I going to get in there to I got this? And that's been worth a lot. I did a previous video about this RV backup camera. So if you're interested in learning more about it, that's going to be a really good video for you to watch next. I left a link for that video in the description below, as well as a link to this product on Amazon. So for me, getting into the campsite, it was just half the battle. Once I was there, I had another problem. What to do next and in the order of how I should do things next. And so the next thing on my list takes care of that problem for me. Now I know checklists, they don't sound very exciting, but please hear me out again. Because these pieces of paper have probably kept me out of more trouble than anything else on this list. I remember standing at the campsite. Did I miss a step? Because when you're doing it all alone, there's no one standing over your shoulder saying, hey, did you remember to do this? So I made checklists out of necessity, honestly. One for setup and one for teardown. And they work so well, even after 5 years, I still use them. Not because I don't know what I'm doing, but because I don't want to have to rely on my memory if I don't have to. I pull out the list, I follow it step by step, and when I leave my campsite, I know I'm leaving without forgetting anything. Confidence doesn't come from doing everything perfectly. It comes from systems that are going to help you succeed. And 2 pieces of paper did that for me. If you don't have a setup or teardown checklist, you can use the ones that I created, and I've left them on my website so you can download them. I'll leave a link to these checklists in the video description below. So go check them out. Okay, checklists, they keep me covered when everything goes according to plan. But what about when it doesn't? The next thing on my list is a habit that takes about 60 seconds, and it gives me peace of mind all night long. Whenever possible, I always position my tow vehicle so that I can leave quickly if I ever had to. Now, I've never made a middle of the night getaway from a campsite, but I have thought about what it would look like if I had to. Severe weather rolling in, an emergency at home, or something that just makes me uncomfortable that I would rather leave. The last thing I would want to do in that moment, standing in the dark in an unfamiliar place, is trying to figure out how to get out. If you're stressed out, tired, maybe a little scared, that is not the time to try to figure out how to exit. After I have my campsite all set up, I position my truck so that if I need to leave, I can just do that. I can just go. So I eliminate that problem before it happens. Will I probably ever need it? No. But that's the point. When I'm camping by myself, it isn't about preparing for the worst. It's about eliminating the small worries and problems before they have a chance to become a big one. But there's still one more habit that I have that I've been using for years that makes me feel like it's not so obvious that I'm a solo camper. For years, when I would set up camp, I'd always put two chairs out. My theory was simple. A campsite that had two chairs out meant that there had to be two campers there, right? Now, I never really knew if this made any difference at all until one trip. Well, I got lazy and I only put one chair out. Later, when I was walking Thor around the campground, somebody stopped me and said, "Hey, are you the single gal camping in the teardrop camper down over there?" I had to tell you, I was so surprised by what she had said. So I had to ask her. And she told me that, well, you only have one chair out by the campfire. So I just assumed that you were camping by yourself. I really couldn't believe it. And that actually confirmed that putting two chairs out really does make a difference. And since that situation occurred, now I always make sure that I put my two chairs out. Now, this next thing on my list is probably the biggest single thing that has made it even possible for me to go solo camping. And if I'd gotten this one wrong, I'm not actually sure that I'd be out there doing this. When people ask me about solo camping, they usually assume that it comes from just doing it and from experience. And of course, that's really true. The more you do something, the easier it's going to get. But I also think that that trust in yourself has to come from somewhere else. And for me, that started and came with having a camper that I could actually manage. And that's my little guy, Max. Compared to most RVs out there, it's pretty small. But that's exactly why it works well for me. I can tow it confidently. I can back it into a campsite. Yeah, it might take me a few tries, but I get in. And honestly, I can't even imagine trying to do that by myself with something double the size. I can hitch and I can unhitch it by myself, and I can pull into a gas station without wondering if I made a big mistake. When you're solo camping, those things, they matter a lot. Now, the right size, of course, is going to be different for everyone. But over the years, I've talked to a lot of people that told me they were afraid to try and go solo camping. And when we talked it all through, the real issue wasn't solo camping. It was that their RV or their camper just felt overwhelming. And it's really hard to fall in love with something if every time you do it, you're just stressed out. Having a camper that you can confidently handle on your own changes everything. That's why before you buy your first camper or you buy your next camper, you need to watch this video right here, because there are certain sizes of campers that can make solo camping more difficult than it needs to be. I don't want you to have to learn the hard way. Click here to watch camper sizes you should avoid at all costs. And I can't wait to see you over in this video next, and I can't wait to hang out with you again next Thursday.